maybe we'll do two Mamorim this week. But let's start with the one that is a bit deeper into the Parsha. It's on page Chaf in the book, if you're sitting with the Torah Ohr, and if you're with a booklet, it's on page 10. Page 10. Nice. Vayachperu avdei Yitzchak banochal, and the slaves of Yitzchak dug into the river. River could also mean a valley. But one of the very interesting things that we find with our forefathers and over here through their slaves is they were digging wells. What's the idea of digging wells? Why were they so into digging wells? Constantly, Abraham digs wells, Yitzchak digs wells. There's stories with wells. Beersheba is because of a story with wells. What's this digging going on, and what is the eternal message? We believe and we know that everything in the Torah has an eternal message. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense. Why they lived for so long? There were much more stories. Which stories were actually recorded in the Torah?
The ones that we've learned from.
The ones that have an eternal message, that have a divine message. So what is the idea of digging wells? So let's see what the Alter Rebbe says. Be'er chafaru asarim. This is a quote from much later in the Torah. One of the poems in the end, where it says it's not Nazinu. It's after a miracle happens over there. They sing Ali Be'er Ani Lo Be'er Chafaru Asorim. Basically, the Torah over there says the well that the ministers dug, which again is the same idea. We see that the Torah emphasizes the idea that we're digging wells. Sorim is the ministers. Ministers refers to our forefathers, and we say, what are they doing? They're digging wells. What's the point of it? The Hinis in the Gemara says the Alter Rebbe. The Hinis in the Gemara. This is said in the Gemara al Pasuk on the Pasuk. Anor vi hu peros. Says the Gemara. Hu demi kara. Shemenu nifredu la'arba roshim. Dahainu gimel yotzu memenu arviu hu ba'atzmoi. In Genesis, in the first parsha in Bereshis, it says over there the names of the four rivers. It says, and the fourth one is Paros. The Gemara says that what does it mean the fourth one is Paros? The fourth one is the actual original river. That's how the Gemara explains it. We're going to see the deeper meaning of it. But when the Torah talks about the rivers splitting, so there's the one, so the Torah says the fourth one is Paros, but the Gemara explains that the deeper meaning of it is not the deep meaning. That's the tradition that there's the original one, and from the original one there is three coming out of it, and then the original one also continues, and that is Paros. Basically, what is the outcome of it? That everything comes from Paros, which we're going to see in our Maimer. The idea is that everything comes from the same source. The Hainu Gimel Yotzu Mimenu, three came out from those rivers. V'Arvi Hu Ba'atzmai V'Amru, and that's the point that it's trying to say. V'Amru, and our rabbis of blessed memory say, Kol Anahoros Lamata Mipros. All the rivers in the world are lower than Pros. What does it mean lower than Pros? They all come from the Pros. Yeah, how does it called in English the Pros? No, it's that's the famous.
Sounds Persian.
Yeah, no, that's Paras.
Exactly.
That's Paras. That's with the Samach. This is with the Sof. Euphrates?
Yeah, Euphrates.
Oh, Paras is...
Tigris, Euphrates, there's those two I know that...
yeah, but Tigris is... but Paras is the Euphrates. Yeah? Have you ever visited the Euphrates?
Yeah.
Probably gone anywhere.
What do you say? hardly gone anywhere.
Yeah, there's a couple U.S. states in here.
Oh,
These rivers are the same where they say that you will find lost tribes by the rivers.
No,
No?
no, that's Sambatyon. The river is Sambatyon.
Ah.
The Euphrates is like in the old world. The Euphrates is the main river. Like in the European countries, there's the Duna. The Duna.
Nasa, the Donau.
The Donau goes through. It goes through. Yeah, but it also gets all the way to Russia. No.
It's long, yeah. It's very long. It goes through all
Rostov, where the Rebbe Shab lived, it's called the Rostov na Don. It's on the Don. Is it possible? It's the same river that reaches Hungary, all the way to Rostov. So let's see inside. So he says all the rivers in the world come. The pros, the whole Mayanot. What does it say? Talk about Mayanot over here.
Fountains.
It says all Mayanot and all the well springs Shaba Olam from the world. Noivim they live. Novea means they're how do you say? How do you say? The water is coming. You know?
Flowing?
No, Novea means it comes. It's more.
the Volga. It's called the Donau also.
Where does it go through? Oh, wow. So where's Hungary?
Well, it's not the one. Oh, it's different.
But how do you say in English Novea? Novea means it giving water. It's a source of water. That's Novea. So it says like this: called Mayanot Shaboilam, all the rivers in the world, Noivim Mesum the Pros, they all come from the ladder of Pros. So basically, the Pros River gives all the other rivers, and also all the waters that we take out from underground also comes from the Euphrates. Pirush mitachas l'arkia, noike v'hoilech. The person just has to make a hole. Achim chafiru mu'etes, to the extent that with some digging, even not necessarily too much digging, yimtza, a person will find be'er mayim chayim, living well, living water. Yeah, anyone ever here saw how they find water? Where are you from again in the country?
Dallas.
Dallas. I don't know how it works over there, but do people have private wells?
No, Texas actually wells are actually illegal in Texas.
Illegal?
Yeah, it's illegal to have a well in Texas.
So how do you get water?
I don't know. I mean, there's water systems, like pipe systems.
Oh, okay. So I come from New York, and New York, in upstate, most people, what they do, they just bring a truck, and I've seen it happening. Bring a truck, and they dig, and they have water.
Wow.
So,
That's healthy. It's healthy land.
Yeah.
just dig with they have like a pipe. It's like digs, and then water starts coming out, and then they put in a pipe system, and they have water without paying. It's like without being connected to the water system of the city, state.
Texas, there's a problem with the soil. It's hard. You can't like build stuff below ground. Like there's no basements in like East Texas.
Why?
Because the soil. There's like the soil. You can't like it's like it won't support the infrastructure below ground.
That's interesting. So in California, you don't really see basements. I never understood why.
Basements in California?
Yeah, he says that the soil over there doesn't support basements. I don't know.
It's too dry,
Maybe
right?
no, I don't know. Maybe California because of all the earthquakes.
I think it's called like red or black clay or something. I don't know.
Okay, so I don't want to go into the construction aspect of it. I just want to.
I get the logistics going. Come on.
I just want to say that there's an interesting phenomena, right? That you dig into the dirt and you find clean water.
Yeah.
Where does that water come from? How is it so clean? Spring water are the best, are the cleanest, sweetest waters there are. So what does that mean? And that's what our forefathers were busy doing. They were busy digging into the dirt and finding water. So that's one of the major occupations others have, right?
Digging wells.
Digging wells. So what is the meaning? For Indian, the Indian is a second. L'choyde to more l'choyde. Should be l'choyde. This is interesting. L'choyde means at the first glance it's interesting. Mipnei ma yikore ma be'mem chayim. Why is this called living water? It mainly comes from the original Euphrates River. So how does it suddenly become a living source of water? So we're going to see. He's going to talk about the fact that it's so clean. It has its own energy. Anyone that ever saw how the water comes out, it's well springs. The well springs of Chassidus, well springs of what's the idea that you dig deep into the dirt and then suddenly you have sweet waters. So I think that you've learned enough Chassidus to understand the gist of where are we going with this.
Dig deep into the soul, and you will get this with the cleanest spirits.
Yeah, but you're digging into the dirt.
The dirt inside your soul.
Not into your soul.
Into your body.
When you dig a bit deeper into the world, you dig a bit deeper into the...
Digging to the klipa.
Exactly. If you dig into the depth of the world, and even things that look like dirt, ultimately you find it's the original, pristine, beautiful source.
Like the Rebbe said, that every Jew is like a piece of coal. But if you take it off, then the dust of the coal eventually a diamond will come.
Every coal has a diamond in it. Yeah?
I think in enough type of pressure, then yes.
Yeah?
It's a diamond is cold in the beginning, then it's like pressurized, and over time when it creates a diamond.
Every coal?
Not like the barbecue coal, but.
Ah.
I don't know.
You're talking about a different type of coal. Okay. I just had a business idea.
Get some barbecue coal.
Start reselling coal.
Yeah, buying coals and just pressure
Turning
it.
into diamond, yeah.
That would be a nice business venture.
I think some guy in Borough Park already got a head start.
What?
Some guy in Borough Park probably has a head start.
I just heard the shiur like, oh, every coal.
Right. Well, the Indian is. Let's see, guys. Let's cover some. Let's see. Let's learn some Torah. The Indian is the Hinik. If the pasuk says, "The nor yotzei lashkus sagan." The pasuk says a river goes out from Eden, lahashkus sagan, to irrigate the garden. What does gan refer to? Gan sidrei de'oraisa. That gan is the numerical value 53. These are the 53. Parshas of the Torah. Pirush, meaning to say, as it's known, Shemetchil, lo tzorach l'kabel ma'ashamayim b'shleimus. Says the Alter Rebbe, this is known that in the beginning a person has to receive the yoke of heaven completely. The Hainu, meaning to say, what does it mean receiving the yoke of heaven? Laham, and to believe be'emunah shleima, to believe with a complete faith, ba'achdus Hashem, in the unity of God. Shumahava kol ha'olamus, that the Eibishter creates all the worlds. V'kula kamek lochshiv, and all the worlds are like nothing in front of him. V'kula chad, and everything in the world is all one unity with Hashem. V'kashi yisboinen odem bekrishma, when a person meditates in Krishma. V'yosim leliboy heitav inyan ha'achdos, and he'll really engrave in his heart the concept of unity of God. And he will then really receive upon himself the Eibishter's, the yoke of God's kingdom. When a person will meditate this, it will cause that he should desire to cling unto God with his whole heart. And they all, it's written very poetically. But basically the Alter Rebbe is saying that when a Jew, since a Jew is connected to Eibishter Yaakov Chevel Nachlosoi, so when a person That's why a Jew wants to again. That's why a Jew wants to cling unto God with his whole heart. They believe in unity and they desire that unity. What does it mean they desire that unity? They want to become included in that unity. They want to become a part of that unity. There's no place where there's no, in other words, a person in davening could reach any conclusion that he wants. But then, in order to implement it, in order to bring it into his life, he still has no space where to contain, not in a containing way, but to receive that unity of God. That's the reason why after davening we try to learn some Torah. So in yeshiva it's simple, right? You go learn right away. But even if you're going to work, hopefully one day you'll get a job and you'll run a multi-billion-dollar company. What?
Please.
Okay. Telling me, please, the Hashem, please.
No, it's like projecting it. Nothing.
Yeah. So the reason is the concept is to learn a bit Torah after davening. Why? Because Torah, we'll discuss it in a few minutes. It doesn't have space only on Torah. Right after receiving the yoke of heaven, he should learn in the depth of his thought, the sichloi, and his intelligence, v'diburoi, and his learning, b'Torah shebal peh, and the Torah shebal peh. Before he learns, Hashem, he should meditate on the unity of God. And through this will cause it, that learning the Torah will cause him to create that space. You can see again, the Alter Rebbe is like very, very, it's like almost like shorthanded. And this is the meaning. And this is the concept of the river coming out of Eden. Pirush me Eden. What is Eden? What is Eden? From the Eibishter that is called Eden. The Nohor hu lashon hamshacha. And the river is the idea of drawing down. Pirush kashiyum shachalikus milamay lamata v'kabols machshamayim. What does it mean? V'nohor yotzei Eden. When the river comes from above to below, when receiving the yoke of heaven, this drawing down, mashke sagan, irrigates the garden. Hiya Torah, that's the Torah. Shudalad amashalarocha b'mokim kodesh kedoshim leiraisa echolad de malka. That's the place of the Holy of Holies. Leiraisa, the Torah is called echolad de malka, the chamber of God. Shabo shoyda achlus Hashem, in it rests the unity of God. Guys, we're going to explain it in a second. I know that usually I don't do that much text, but let's continue a tiny bit. When a person will fulfill the idea of Nor Yotzim Eden when he davens, and then learning right after davening. But afterwards, a person has to go to the work. So the guys, this mimer is basically going to tell us three different levels in our relationship with God. There's davening, there's learning, and then there's mitzvahs throughout the day. The Alter Rebbe basically says the following. Let's only talk now about the difference between learning and davening. What is the difference in learning and davening?
Learning is a gaining of understanding, and then davening is a form of praise and connection.
Exactly.
Learning is also connection too.
Exactly. So both are, Boaz is right. Both are forms of connection. But what is the difference? Let's first say it's very simple. In davening, you're the one talking to God.
And learning it's the opposite.
Exactly. In learning, God is talking to you. But why is davening important before learning? Why is it that by Chassidim used to say that learning by itself is very, very dangerous? Nothing happened. Unbelievable. Learning by itself, by Chassidim, learning by itself is to be very dangerous. It's like so dangerous, Chassidim. Because since it needs your intelligence, since it needs your understanding, so you could learn it in a very disconnected way. Let's be honest about it. Lawyers are the ones that know law best. They go to school, they learn, they practice, they study law. Are lawyers the biggest keepers of law? Why not?
Because they can misuse it.
Right.
They're doing it until
They're the biggest. No, but when you go to a lawyer, is it necessarily because you want to know?
The judge is the keeper?
Huh?
The judge must be the keeper.
The judge has to be the keeper of law. But a lawyer could also tell you all the loopholes of the law. You go to a lawyer, you go to a good accountant, he knows the law so well that he knows, okay, it's better if you file your taxes in this way, you can get 5% off. Right?
My dad is that's a CPA, so he does all that stuff.
So let's think about it. When we're talking about Torah making you connected to God, how? By knowing what He wants and knowing what He's interested in. That doesn't necessarily make you more God-fearing. You might be more knowledgeable, but a lot of very knowledgeable people messed up Torah big time. In fact, there's always these advertisements before Pesach. Before Pesach, the women go crazy cleaning their houses for Pesach, and then there's always these advertisements. Learn the laws of Pesach, you won't work so hard.
I'm smarter, not harder.
Yeah, no, you understand the dust is not chametz. So sometimes knowing the law doesn't necessarily make you more strict, make you more lenient. But over here, the question is not being strict or lenient. The question is not strict or lenient. The question is make you more connected or less connected. You could learn the law, just like learning how a person operates, and you can become the biggest manipulator. Say that psychopaths are not allowed to go to therapy, not allowed to go to therapy because a psychopath will take therapy, and the therapy they'll teach him how to act, so he takes that too to a sick place.
It's a whole different approach.
What?
No, you deal with from the abnormal psychology, like under the umbrella of normal psychology, just as like the big difference between like depressed and anxious versus someone who's like straight up psychotic, in some sort of actual.
Yeah, I'm not talking about regular psychology. I'm talking about
abnormal psychology.
A person with issues, a person with psychotic. I said psychotic. Psychotic is not someone sick. Yeah. No. So maybe that. So maybe I'm not saying the right word. Maybe not psychotic.
Psychotic means, but psychopath is a very specific.
Not psychotic. Psychopath.
Psychopath,
Someone that is a psychopath.
We can call them brain scans, I guess. So notes.
Really?
Or like, I mean, that's like.
That's interesting that they see that in brain scans. But psychopath, I didn't mean psychotic. Psychotic means a person that is really suffering from a real depression or bipolar or
all kinds of stuff.
mania. Yeah, manic. I'm sorry. I didn't mean psychotic.
Yeah, we don't.
I meant a psychopath.
Yeah.
A psychopath is very dangerous to teach him how to act with people and explain to him what he did wrong, because even that he'll also take into his. Now he has a new arsenal of how to manipulate people.
Yeah.
So that's pretty dangerous.
By the way, Rabbi, I can speak from experience that when I used to learn Torah, when I used to not, we're speaking about davening, but just in terms of saying Birkat Torah in the morning, when I used to not say Birkat Torah years ago and then learn, it's a completely different ballpark to saying Birkat Torah and then learning. It's not even the same thing. It's completely
That's exactly what we're talking about now. Amazing. Because learning Torah, again, is getting to know God. Now, getting to know God, if it doesn't come from a place of real interest in the God behind it, so I could be like a good lawyer. A good lawyer, I know the laws, I don't really care for the law. It doesn't make me more of a lawkeeper, it makes me a good lawyer. So just like lawyers are not necessarily of the law, they only know how to work with the law, how to manipulate the law, or how to use the loopholes of the law. It's not across the board, but it could be that way. The same is also a lot of very learned people. The opposite. They know law, and they become very lenient. They become very cold, and it's usually the opposite. These simple people that are not so learned, are in a lot of cases so much more God-fearing than all these people that know everything. Why? Because they're very simple. They want a connection to God. That's it. So they'll do everything. But then you have a person who says, nah, you don't really have to say all the halakos. It's like you don't have to really say karbanas. You could skip karbanas. Halakos also you could skip most. It's like you have the list of all the loopholes. And that's why you'll see throughout history, most of the movements that destroyed Judaism, maybe back then people thought that they'll save Judaism, but now in hindsight, 150 years later, 100 years later, we see what happened to all those movements. Basically their shuls are emptying out, and their kids are intermarrying. And so these movements weren't created by the Sabbatians. These movements were created by very big learned rabbis. But these big learned rabbis knew a lot, but had no Yerushalayim, had no interest in the relationship, not to the Torah, but rather to the giver of the Torah. This is called by Chassidim, in the name of the Maral of Prague. There's a lot of people that learn Torah, but forget about the Noisein Torah. A lot of people that learn Torah, but they forget about the giver of the Torah.
Happens quite often.
It happens quite often. And that's why it's quite interesting. On one hand, learning Torah is the biggest mitzvah. On the other hand, Chassidus was Chassidus emphasized so much the danger of learning Torah. Why is Torah more dangerous than any of the other mitzvahs? Torah is the biggest mitzvah. I might even get into trouble for saying the word if someone will take this and make it into a shorts. I'll say, oh, the rabbi said the danger of learning Torah. I'll be grilled. Yeah, they'll put me on the
Fire you.
We will protect you.
Yeah, no, it's like I don't really predict it. They could listen to before and after. I said if they put it as shorts. So what is the danger of learning Torah? The danger of learning Torah is because Torah, the idea of Torah is that it's, so to say, God talking to you, and you have to internalize it. Internalizing means using your intellect and emotions. So it's very easy for you to also misconstrue it or abuse it or use it as a manipulation. Because if you get the information, the deepest information, but it's not about the relationship to the person giving you that information, it won't not only make you closer, it will make you even further. Does that make sense? I think I quoted it before in the name of Rabbi Din Steinsaltz about it.
The new one, the one in Cali.
Not the new one, the whole idea of the Kabbalah Center, that you could learn Kabbalah and not necessarily invest so much in your relationship with God or relationship with halacha.
It's very superficial.
I don't know. I wasn't there. They have some shuls that they daven, but
They teach it to non-Jews also.
right, because it's not. So on one hand, Kabbalah is the secrets of God. Secrets of God is very exciting. To get to know someone intimately is very exciting. But what's the difference between pornography and being intimate in a healthy way? The idea of the commitment of the relationship. So if you're intimate with a person that you're committed to, so the more intimate you are, the more revealing, the more vulnerable you are, you become closer. But if you don't give a hoot about the other person, it's only about yourself, that's called pornography. That's called prostitution. So it could be exactly the same act. But one comes from a place, I want to get to know you. One is, I want to use you for my benefit. So that's why Torah, it's God's secrets, especially when it comes to Kabbalah. It's God's secrets. That's why everybody loves Kabbalah. I don't know everybody. Like some people have more of a tendency to love Kabbalah, and some people have less of a tendency. But in general, what is Kabbalah? Kabbalah is really exciting. How God works, how God connects to the world. It's like going into the secrets. Why wasn't the secrets shared with everyone? Because it's a secret. It's intimacy. So the same intimacy that when you're interested in the person connects you. If you're not interested in the person, it makes you sick. It makes you further. Yeah, the people that are sick, it's called voyeurism. Voyeurism, yeah, they like to do. So
Like a peeping Tom.
yeah, peeping what?
Peeping Tom. It's like
No,
what voyeurism is.
What is Tom?
Voyeurism is like more like an abstract thing, like you want to do lots of hedonistic things and whatever.
No, I think voyeurism is like people that peep into.
Yeah, it's
People
peeping.
watching other people.
Yeah.
And if, like,
Yeah, in English. Or in showers, people that go watch other people's showers.
yeah, the expression is peeping Tom.
I'm
Like,
connected,
that's what
no.
he's saying.
Yeah, I didn't
I'm
hear
connected to
that.
people at the naked beaches.
Something else.
They want to be naked. No, they want the people that want to be naked on beaches because they want people to look at them.
Okay, that's the other sickness. We can't cover all the illnesses in one day, but
Maybe you seem to know a lot about this topic.
We have it in Sweden, that's why.
okay, yeah. People are so bored that you have to come up with these. You have to be. If you're not crazy enough, like you didn't come up with a new. But so why is that sake? Because
So
being exposed to intimacy without caring for the person not only doesn't make you closer to the person, it makes you further away from the person. Like the person, you abuse the person, and it's in everything. It's like if you break into my bank account, not that it's a big secret. I'll tell you, okay, I have $47.29. I don't know. Well, so if we're very close, yeah, for sure, my bank account is open for you and everything. But if you're peeking into my bank account, you're breaking in through the password, you're breaking into my bank account and you're not meant to be there, that won't make you closer, make you further. There's a certain abuse over there. There's a certain disconnect. And that is exactly the secret, the problem sometimes. If a person learns Torah without Yiras Shamayim, a person that learns Torah without fear of God, the Torah by itself, the Torah is God. God is revealing Himself. But I want to know only your wisdom. I want to get to know you through your wisdom. That's why Chassidus was so the famous story. We're finished with one little story, and we'll continue discussing it tomorrow. The successor of the Baal Shem Tov, when the Baal Shem Tov passed away, the first year his son took him over. A year later, his son said that my father came to me in my dream and said, I'm not the successor. The successor is the Maggid of Mezrich. And he went together with all the students, all the disciples, and they became Chassidim of the Maggid of Mezrich. How did the Maggid of Mezrich become a Chassid? Maggid of Mezrich was a genius kid, genius lad, young lad, and he was standing in the Beis Medrash, in the shul, and he would learn for hours. It was a genius when he learned. He knew everything. That was what Jews do, and especially back then. That's what Jews would do. There was nothing else to do. Just sitting and learning Torah, and some people still try to do it nowadays. But the Maggid of Mezrich was a genius. It's like a progeny, and he's standing and learning Torah. I don't know, for a few hours. But then he feels so good about himself. And it's yarmulke, the kid like this. Reb Pinchas Koritzer. Reb Pinchas Koritzer was there. Pinchas Koritzer was a very true person, very famous for his truth. He went over to him and said, "Young lad, if after 4 hours of learning," I don't remember the number exactly, you have to look on the number. If after 4 hours of learning your yarmulke goes like this, how many hours do you need to learn in order to take off your yarmulke completely?
Wow.
What did he try to tell him? It's like, you're feeling so good about your learning, so into yourself and into your brilliance. How much do you need in order to chuck it off completely? What was he trying to say? You're going to learn so much Torah, but where's the God in it? The Maggid of Mezrich was a holy neshama. Instead of becoming offended, he got the message. And he told Rabbi Chassidus, "What should I do? You have a point. Have a point." He most probably felt, I have learned Torah, but I didn't think enough about the giver of the Torah. So Rabbi Chassidus said, if you really want to fix this concept, you have to travel to the Baal Shem Tov. And he sent him to the Baal Shem Tov, and he became the biggest disciple and the successor of the Baal Shem Tov. Wow. May the merit of all these big tzaddikim stand for us. May the merit of all tzaddikim help us in our connection to Hashem through davening and learning, and our Torah should be imbued. When we learn the Torah, we say Omar Abaya, Omar Rava. It's God says through Abaya. Omar Rava, God says through Rava. That's why we try to make sure to go to the mikveh from time to time, and we try to make sure that we're clean when we learn Torah. Learning Torah is not just an intellectual, intellectual pursuit. Especially you're learning a great skill over here, how to learn Gemara. We talk so much about this skill, but in Chassidus, we could say it's a very important skill, but you always have to remember that it's the point of learning Torah. Unfortunately, a lot of people ask, why you learn deep Gemara? Says, what do you mean? Because I want to develop my my intelligence. What a chutzpah. Using God's Torah in order to develop your intelligence. You want to develop your intelligence, play chess. Learn God's Torah because you want to get to know God. So obviously, God wants us to really internalize it. So it's a bit complicated. So we really want to know how to do it. We want to get a skill, and we want to be able to really understand it. And but ultimately, it's about connecting to the Creator, learning Torah with your Shemayim, learning Torah with to be continued tomorrow. But we could all say a good Tavach. and hello to Gedalia. It looks to me that Gedalia is here, watching us. So Gedalia, you know Boaz?
That's fun.
Yeah, you remember Gedalia?
I know.
You remember Gedalia? Gedalia Lieberman,
Maybe.
a very cool guy. You remember Gedalia Lieberman from last year? You remember Gedalia?
I wasn't here last.
Well, you weren't here last year. Gedalia, it's about time for you to come back and visit us again. Have a beautiful day and have a meaningful davening, everyone!